I always share with you guys the kind of lunches that I prepare for the kids, but you guys have been asking to see the kind of lunches that I prepare for the adults. What is up, you guys? My name is Kira if you are new, and in today's video I am back to share with you some lunch inspiration. I always share with you what I put together for my little kids, but you guys are always asking what I do for the adults. Now, as far as my husband is concerned, I have a couple of clips to share with you, but these were all taken over the last month and a half or so, and during that time my husband had some dental work, so I was a little limited on what I could send him. And then he just recently changed jobs. So he was off of work for about 10 days in transition, and then now at the new job during training they provide food. So for the next couple of weeks I'm kind of off the hook for hubby's lunch. So I do have some clips for you, just not as many as I would have liked. And then for myself, I know I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but I like to utilize Every Plate for myself. I know not everybody is all about the food delivery kits, but for me, as far as that goes, Every Plate is the cheapest. It only costs me $30 a week if I choose to get that week. And I don't get every week. I only get when the recipes speak to me, but they're easy, they're delicious, the ingredients are fresh, and they're name brand, and it just takes all the guesswork out of what I'm gonna do for myself for lunch. I get the kit, I meal prep it for myself, and it's easily accessible in the fridge. And down below I have a link if you guys wanna go ahead and check it out, and that gets you that same box of the 3 meals that feeds 2 people for just $10. So you can't beat that if you wanna go ahead and give that a try, but I have 2 meals to share with you that I meal prepped, and then I have some meals that I put together for my husband for work. So let me take you down to the counter in the kitchen and I'll share with you some adult lunch inspiration. All right, so before we get into the first lunch, let me just start off by saying that most of the places that my husband works, they don't always have a microwave accessible. And he's not really one for like thermoses and containers. So I usually pack him a sandwich, and he is all about cold cuts like lunch meat. So in this clip, I packed him a sandwich of ham and cheese. That's the ham that I get from Sam's Club that we all absolutely love, and we both really love mayo. So I usually do an even coating of mayo on each side of the bread, and then usually 3 to 4 pieces of ham with a slice of American cheese. And then those are the Cheez-Its snapped. You'll see them almost in every clip because he really liked them. He loved the crunch of the cracker. He said it was easier for him to chew than chips. And this is the barbecue flavor, so he really liked those. I have some blackberries washed and dried for him up there, and you can see that I stuffed a piece of paper towel in there, and that kind of helps keeps the berries dry and stuff and fresh until he can get to it. And then lastly, for his like little sweet treat, I have some of these Vachon cakes. So these are the last 2 little cakes. There's 2 in a package that Vanessa from Canada sent me in our box swap, and they are so delicious. They're called caramel, and so it's almost like a spongy cake, and then it has these ribbons of caramel and then like a marshmallow cream, and then they're covered in chocolate, and they're so stinking good, especially if you put them in the freezer. So I froze his and then told him to make sure to keep his lunch in his little refrigerator at work. So I know this was a meal that hubby loved, but that's what I packed for him on this day. So now I'm going to share with you a recipe that I packed for myself, and this is definitely something that was just something that I would eat. Like I said, I only get the recipes that speak to me, and this was a black bean stew, and I've had it before. I've gotten it from Every Plate before, but it's super easy to prepare. You can see the ingredients here. It's minimal ingredients, and it takes absolutely 0 time to put together and to cook, and it makes such a delicious and hearty meal that's all that you need, and it makes 2 substantial portions. So there's some scallions here, an onion, some garlic cloves, aroma tomato, some Southwest seasoning, some black beans, some Monterey Jack cheese, some sour cream. There's some chicken stock concentrate, some tomato paste, and then there's like a little zesty chipotle kind of paste. But if you were recreating this at home, you would just need some chipotle peppers in a can. And then now here I've chopped everything up. Our tomato, I separated the green and the whites from our scallions. I chopped up the half of the onion and then the garlic cloves. So in a pot, I have some olive oil here, and once it heated up, I just put in the half an onion, and then we're only going to put in the whites from the scallions, and then we're just going to let that cook down, give it a good stir. Make sure you give it salt and pepper. It's important to salt and pepper at every step. And then once that's sweat down a little bit, you're going to add a little bit more olive oil, some garlic, and then that Southwest seasoning. You can see that I just kept adding a little bit of olive oil as we go because I really like my veggies to be good and cooked down inside of a soup. And so now once you're all done doing that, you're going to add in your Roma tomato, you're going to add in that chipotle pepper or that paste, and then you're going to add in the tomato paste, and you're going to give that a good stir. And then once that's all incorporated, you're going to add in your black beans, including the juice. You're going to add in your chicken stock concentrate, and then 1 cup of water. That is it, you guys. Stir and let it sit on the stove and reduce down for about 15 minutes. So if you want to make this at home, you literally just need some veggies, some taco seasoning, a little bit of chipotle peppers, and some black beans. And boom, here we go. Like after it reduced down, I got this super delicious stew that I was able to separate into 2 Tupperware. And then now everything else is for your topping. So you separate that Monterey Jack cheese, you split it between both containers. I split the sour cream between both containers. You're going to add the green part of your scallion, and then that's it. I just made sure to clean off all of the edges because I'm kind of OCD about that. And then we're going to screw on the lid and we're going to put it in the refrigerator. And that was it. That was something I was able to pull out and heat up at any time. But like I said, this is something you could easily recreate at home. And it's something that if I have all this stuff on hand, I've made this recipe a few times now that I could easily pull this together. All right, back to another meal for my husband, and you can see there's another Cheez-It Snap, but that's the cheddar sour cream flavor. And then for his sandwich, I had these hoagie rolls that I got from the Dollar Tree, and on this one is lettuce, tomato, mayo, and then a chicken patty with cheese. But you guys, the chicken patties are such a good idea for lunches because they could be anything. They could be with a little bit of sauce and mozzarella. It could be a chicken parm sandwich. You can do a barbecue sauce and provolone and make it a barbecue sandwich. Like that chicken patty, the ones that I get from Walmart, they are just like an canvas that you can use for so many things. And then that is one of those strawberry and cream cookies that I got from Trader Joe's, but they're very like thick and sweet and decadent. So I only gave him one. And then his pick that week was apricots. So I peeled him up and cut him up a bunch of apricots and put that in a bag for him as well. But that is what I packed hubby on this day. All right, so now on to the last recipe for me. And if you know anything about me, this literally screams me. So these are loaded mushroom fajita bowls, which is everything in this life that I love. So when I saw this as an option, I knew this was something that I had to get. And it's with poblano, pickled onion, and lime crema. And I was like, okay, that's it. This is what I need. So there is jasmine rice, some button mushrooms. You need a red onion, a poblano. You need some of the Southwest spice, which is literally just taco seasoning. Then they give you 2 packs of Cholula, 2 packs of sour cream, 2 packs of Monterey Jack cheese, that Roma tomato, a lime, and then, like I said, we needed some rice. So here's the pretty veggies all cut up: our garlic, our mushrooms, the lime zested and quartered, the poblano, the mushrooms, the red onion, the Roma tomato. Like everything is cut up and ready to go. And I've already cooked our rice. So I just washed it and I slow steamed it on the stove for a while until it was ready to go. But I wanted it to be somewhat cool before we layered everything so that it wasn't too hot when we layered it in the pan. So now with just a little bit of of olive oil, I added 1 teaspoon of that Southwest seasoning to our button mushrooms, and I got them all sauteed, and then we took those out of the pan, added a little bit more olive oil, and then now we're going to cook down our red onion and our poblano, and then we're going to add a little bit more of that Southwest spice. I did keep going back and adding olive oil. My stove runs very hot, and you could see how easy it is for things to get dark. So once those were all sweated down, I added in a tablespoon of butter and then our chopped up garlic, and you could see that that just got everything sizzled. And I really like my veggies like this charred, so you can see I got mine good and dark. And now we're going to take the rest of our red onion and we're going to pickle them. So a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of sugar, and some water, and then we're going to nuke it. That's how you can really speed the process. So that's off in the microwave, and it's pickling quickly by being heated. And then now in this little container, we're going to add our sour cream, some lime zest, some lime juice, and then a little bit of water just so that it becomes pourable. And then now our lime crema is done. And now the microwave has stopped, so our pickled onions are pickled. And then now it's time to turn our rice into lime rice. So I put in a tablespoon of butter and the rest of the lime zest, and then just mixed it up into our rice. I did have to end up putting the rice back on the stove because now it was too cold to get the butter and the lime all mixed in. But once that was done, I got my Rubbermaid Brilliance containers, which I love so much, and they're linked in my Amazon store, and I began to layer. So first I put in the rice, and then I put in those peppers and onions, and then I added the mushrooms evenly distributed between both. And then now it's time for all the fun toppings. So each one got a full package of cheese. The cheese really helped like add even more bulk since there isn't a whole lot of protein in this bowl. And then I added the Roma tomatoes between both. And then now we're going to come and split the pickled onion between the both. And the pickled onion was so good that I poured the juice on, and then I split the lime crema between both. And then of course we're gonna top it off with hot sauce, because that is like the perfect topping to go with those fajitables. And then the final piece de resistance is the green part of the onion all on top of that. And then look at those bowls, you guys. That is perfect, and that is what I would eat for lunch. Like, those are perfect for me. So between both of the recipes that you guys just saw, that was 4 full days of lunch, and they're in a little container. I don't have to think. I take it out, I throw it in the microwave for 1 minute, and then poof, lunch is done. So that's why I always lean towards the every plate meals, because I know that there's nothing better for me than that. All right, now here's the last meal for my husband, and I still had more of those hoagie rolls that I got from the Dollar Tree, and what's on it but tuna. If you guys have been following for any length of time, you know my husband loves himself a good tuna sandwich, and his little secret ingredient to tuna is green apple. It adds a little bit of a crunch, but it adds a really awesome tartness you would never think that you would want inside of your tuna fish. It just works, you guys. Give it a try. And then he has the Cheez-It Snaps. That's not the third flavor. That's the sour cream and onion one again, but there was also a triple cheddar. Those were the 3 different flavors inside of the bag. I have some blueberries for him, washed and dried. I left it open so you guys could see, but I do end up throwing a paper towel in there for him. And then the last thing, his little sweet treat, was these homemade Reese's Peanut Butter Cup cookies. So we got the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, the place and bake cookies, and I put them inside of a cupcake tin and I baked them off. And then when they came out and they were still hot, I used the bottom of a shot glass and I pushed it into the cookie, and it made like a shell. And then once it cooled, it was like a little hull. And then I went and added dark chocolate pudding, just the regular dark chocolate Great Value pudding cups, and I added that little dollop inside the little like cup that the cookie made, and it was like a reverse Reese's Peanut Butter Cup cookie, and it was so good. Everybody loved it, and this was the last one, so I sent that with Hubs. All right, you guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. again, in the description box is that link for every plate if you want to go ahead and give it a try. And as far as lunch inspiration, if you love these kinds of videos, don't worry, we got you covered. So I have a lot of lunch inspiration coming up. I have a video coming up soon in a couple of weeks of all the lunches that I put together for the kids, some before Jake left, and then what I've done for the little kids once he's gone. And then once my husband's done with training, I'll be back to packing him lunches. So I'll have clips of those to share. And then once the kids go back to school come August time, I think I'm gonna go back to sharing weekly lunch videos of what all 3 kids are taking to school every day. So I'm super excited because there is tons of lunch inspiration on the horizon. So make sure if you love that and you're not subscribed, you go ahead and click that now with that little notification bell so you guys are notified when I upload. But otherwise, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.